Hello, everyone. Welcome to All Things Pan. The song you just heard was called Pan Talent by Mighty Terror. He was also, his name was Fitzgerald Henry, born in Trinidad. He was known for his golden voice. That was also his nickname. He came through Calypso from his mentor, the great Lord Kitchener, and he's also been known for his good ability to sing in minor key. So I just wanted to put that song to show you guys that Pan is still being played all around the world. So let's get into it, right? Welcome to All Things Pan. I am your host, Danielle George. On the stage, like every other time on Monday, we will be talking to panists, tuners, arrangers, and pan enthusiasts from all over the world. I would really like to invite our guest for today, Aaron Roberts from Toronto. I hope it's not skipping. Please let me know, everyone else. Let me know if it's skipping. Hello.
Hi, good evening.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. How's your day so far?
Good, you know what? Just went for a bike ride with the fams. Nice weather outside,
Nice.
can't complain.
That's good. It's really windy here, so
No.
I don't want to blow away, so I'm gonna stay inside. So how have you and your family been dealing with the COVID and the lockdown and
You know what? It could be, I could see it as a blessing in disguise at some
right?
point. We're both, myself and my wife are working from home. Our kids are 7 and 8. So it's
Okay.
really challenging to keep them occupied.
Right.
But you know what? They're enjoying us being at home, even though we're working on the computers and can't talk to them most of the time.
Right.
But after we're done work, we shut off and we spend family time. We go for walks, bike rides, do family games, board games. So it's really been great being home with
That's
the
good.
family more.
That's good. Are they doing online schooling?
They are, but at this age, they're not really serious things. It takes them about an
Right.
hour and then they're done. And one's on his Switch, Nintendo Switch, the other one's watching YouTube or a movie on TV.
Right.
But the hobbies are changing, which is nice to see. My daughter is getting into music and wants to
Oh,
play
that's good.
piano, and actually started writing her own songs. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, she started writing the words with her mom, and my best friend, is like a brother to me, is coming up with the chords on guitar. So we have part of the song down, and she's excited to do it. So you know
I
what? It's
can't.
good to see it's running in the blood in terms of
Kevin,
music.
that's good. I can't wait to hear it. You're gonna show
Oh,
it
for
online,
sure,
right?
for sure.
Awesome. I can't wait. So, just to let you know, I'm gonna let the viewers ask you questions the last 15 minutes, if that's okay with you.
Oh, for sure, yeah,
Awesome. So, you ready to get into it?
for sure, yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. Like I tell everyone, we're gonna start off easy, and then we'll get into the harder questions later.
Yeah,
Good?
yeah.
Okay. So, how long have you been playing pan?
I would say about 20 years, and it's been a long road and still a long road to go.
Mm.
Really humbled by the experience. And you know what? I started playing in a band called Fanatics Steel Band Network, and I started
Okay.
off with no experience, no musical background. But I found that it was a really great experience, not just for the music, but just a community-based feeling and a feeling of family and togetherness.
Mm.
It's still a long road. I'll tell you a funny story of, when I practiced at home and finally borrowed a pan from the pan yard. I lived with two of my best friends in a house. We rented a house and we had the upstairs and downstairs. The one
Okay.
that rented downstairs, he actually was a producer. He produced for some soca artists, and he was producing in the basement. So he had a lot of equipment and music was going all the time. So I was into the music and stuff. And I brought home a pan and I started practicing. And these guys, they're my best friends and they're like my family to me. But they'll still bust
Right.
bust me up and say, "Boss, it sounded like you were trying to kill pots and pans
Oh
down there,"
no.
because I would try my own thing and kind of
Right.
try to copy songs. And at that point, I was just trying to learn other things than what we learned in the band. But that was my
Mm.
beginning. And now you know what? I'm at a comfortable level, but there's so much more to learn.
Of course.
So much more way to go.
Of course. Of course. So, what got you, or who got you involved in pan?
You know what? It runs in the family kind of. My dad played pan way back in the day, and I know that I hear from the older generation it was the Bad John days when pan wasn't
Yes.
really respected and they were known as gangs and a lot of violence was involved when they crossed roads. And I'm now starting
Right.
to hear more of the stories from my mom.
Mm.
My dad has passed away, but I'm starting
Oh,
to. I think from those experiences, he really didn't want me to play pan at first. Because of
right.
those experiences, and he kind of shied away from it as he got older, and I was getting older. But as I got
Mm.
more mature and we started to bond a little bit more, he kind of encouraged me to get back into it because it
That's
became an
good.
art and it was respected. So
Mm.
that kind of got me into it. And just musically, I was looking for something, and I never took formal lessons in anything. I still want to
Right.
play guitar, piano, possibly, but the doors are open for so much right now.
Yeah, of course. So, the band that you started with, are you still with them, or have you kind of
No, it's been
ventured?
hard. They're a distance away right now. I'd love to go
Okay.
back someday when there's more time. It's challenging where we live right now to get there, and practice time it's a dedicated thing. And every night in the summertime, it's pretty tough to get there. And having a young
Mm.
family again and a demanding career, it's really tough to stick with the band. And that's why I started to branch off and do my own thing and play at weddings and community festivals and restaurants and different events, private events. But
Hmm.
someday maybe I'll get back. Again, it was a sense of community. When I started, it was really a time in my life. It was a difficult time, and it really was a great outlet for me. And the people I met, it was a great experience for me.
That's good. That's good. So, when you started playing with that band, did you just stick to tenor, or did you try other pans, or do
No,
you
I
want to
just
start?
no, I should have. I regret it a little bit now because my teacher Lane Clark at the time was always saying, when he saw me play, and again, like I'd bing bang and on notes, and the band would
Right.
get mad at me because I'm just trying my own thing and I'm making mistakes. But he said, you know what, you're gonna be a soloist sometime, and I can see
Mm.
that in you because you're not afraid to make mistakes. But at the same time, he was always trying to teach me the lesson of listening to the background, listen to the chord progressions. And
Right.
again, I was stubborn back then. I just want to play solos and go off and be like the great legends out there. But
Right.
getting there, and there's a long way to go in terms of theory as well. I'm starting to get more into the theory as well, which will help. But
Yeah.
listening to the greats also help, watching the local players as well as those in Trinidad all over the world. There's a lot of great players that I listen to their styles and so on.
Hmm. So who are the styles that you listen to?
Well, different ones for different reasons. So,
Right.
out there in the world, I'm listening to people like Freddie Harris III, even, older ones, rest in peace, Professor Fillmore. Um,
Right.
Bugsy, of course, I know he's not a tenor, but, I listen to just the improv piece and I look at a lot of clips and kind of just try to mimic what they do. But again, understanding it more in theory is what I want to get to.
Hmm.
Locally, you had him on your show last week, Mr. Earl LaPierre Jr. Uh,
Yes. I think
his
he's in here
phrasing,
tonight.
like I listen to his phrasing is just insane. Like he phrases stuff and it makes a song sound just so much, it just puts something to it.
Hmm.
And I've
Right.
seen him improve over time as well. And we've been friends for a long time. And he looks out for me. I know, I have to give him thanks for all the nice words that he always says about me. So,
Hmm.
great thanks to Earl and great community builder and entertainer as well.
Yeah. So the panists that you seem to follow, do you try to imitate any of their styles, or are you trying to
Oh,
create your
it's
own?
hard when you listen to like Freddie Harris and
I
Professor and all
know.
those guys.
I
And
know.
Duvon Stewart, like it's
Yes.
tough because they know the theory, they've lived it. Earl as well, like I could tell that he's really, really taken it to another level. But yeah, I listen to it, and there's some things I pick up, but there's some things that when I play now, I have a better ear, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I'm missing something. Liam
Right.
Teague is another, great player. He's out in the states, in the southern states, I believe, but he emailed me a few years ago and he was giving me some tips and he said, what, sometime we should do a virtual lesson and read this book on bebop and whatnot. I got the book, I started to read it, I'm like, I don't understand. It's just like a different language. So I'm
Right.
trying to break that down right now as well. But just
Yeah.
playing around sometimes, like my original teacher said, sometimes just playing around with a song, what fits with your ear now and
Yeah.
after experience, but it's still not at the level I want to be. So, a lot of my friends and family will say, "Oh, but you're great." But to me, it's
Yeah.
not where I want to be. So,
Right. Right. So you're more of you listen to music and kind of play with your ear, or
yeah,
do you know? Yeah.
totally ear. I cannot read or write music.
Hmm.
Everything I do is by ear. I just copy and listen to the song quite a few times. It does take me a few times. I'm not a crack shot like some, so I will listen to it
Yeah.
quite a few times. And play it in the basement, and that's when somebody, people in the house will get sick of the song. It's like, okay, I'm tired of that song now. But
Yeah. Yeah.
a very supportive family, and they, my kids and my wife especially, because you're hearing, the noise and. Someday
Yeah.
maybe I'll buy an EPAN where I can plug in the earphones. But I'll tell you something, the EPAN app was really helpful to me too when the kids were
Mm.
newborns and they were trying to nap, and I kind of arranged my songs, plugged in, played my
Hmm.
instrumentals, and played on the pan. And I show people that
Yeah.
app when I go around to explain sometimes what a steel pan looks like or what it sounds
Yes.
like. So it's really helpful, but
Yeah,
that's
for
how I
sure.
do it.
Yeah. So you're kind of like my dad, because my dad played pan from morning to night. That was
Mhm.
my wake up call. That was my bedtime story. So are you the same way, or has your wife
No, it's
played?
yeah, it's now it's kind of, oh, I got a gig coming up, I got to practice. So
Right.
it's just tough. Yeah, it's tough. It's challenging to find the time to do it. I wish there was more time to
Mm.
do it, but again, I value everything that, I spend my time on with my family and so on, and it's worth
Hmm.
it. And, time will come, and it's just a hobby for me. Like we have
Right.
very demanding careers, and that comes first to take care of the family and making
Hmm.
sure the family's good. So, it will come in time. It's a great hobby to have. Our barbecues, I'll bring it over, or getting gigs here and there. It's
Hmm.
not my living, but it is good to make some extra cash from it if I can.
Yeah. Yeah, for
But
sure.
at the same time, it's just a hobby for me, and I love it in terms of music. And again, I just want to expand my musical ability with other instruments. So,
Okay.
it's probably not going to be, and that was another tip that my teacher told me is like, put the pen somewhere. When you walk by it, do your scales,
Yeah.
twice a day if you can. It's just like
Yeah.
exercising, right? Like if
Yeah.
you have to
Exactly.
keep fit, and that's another hobby of ours. We want to,
Yeah.
getting older and you got to keep fit and stay alive for these kids. So,
Yeah.
bike rides, doing workouts with the kids, doing games with the kids takes up some time. So, you know what? I
Hmm.
don't regret any of that, but,
Yeah.
it's challenging.
Yeah. So do your kids ever like sneak away and play your pan every once in a while, or are they
They
interested
tr
in
they try
playing?
they pick it up and then they put it down at times. My
Right.
daughter and my son have picked it up and I taught them like one chord progression. One of the first songs I learned was "Stand by Me" in the key of C
Okay.
major. So I taught
Wow.
them that chord progression. They learned it for a good while and then they left it and they come back to it. They learn and then they remember some of it, but um, again, my daughter's getting into piano. She really wants to play piano, so I'm not gonna force
Mhm.
it on them and say you have to
Okay.
practice. You know,
Yeah.
you have to practice an hour a day, but my son is more of the sports nut, so he's going to be in the
Okay.
NBA, he says. So I'm
Okay.
not pushing the music on him, although I think he's going to be the producer, kind of like Billie Eilish and the brother Phineas.
Right. Right. Well, with your daughter, as soon as she learns the piano, she can pick up the pan like it's nothing.
Well, yeah, she
So.
just said to us that her dream is to play piano and sing at the same time and write songs. We've been watching
Mhm.
a show called Songland. I don't know if you've ever
Okay.
seen it. It's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
writers come in and they present their song to big artists and so on.
Hmm.
So she's been influenced kind of by that, American Idol, Canadian Idol. She watches all that with us, and she's become
Okay.
interested in entertaining. And you could tell the heart's there, and she's serious about it. So
That's
uh,
good. Hopefully it doesn't does
we got some
hopefully
work
it
on
doesn't
our hands.
disappear.
We have some work on our hands.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, so how long have you been a soloist? Have you been a soloist for the 20 years altogether, or has it
No,
been
well, I will kind of put the term like Earl said it last week. I would consider myself a player compared to
okay?
the players out or the soloists out there. I would just say I played, at events. I
Mm,
would probably say for the last 15 years. I
okay.
would say about 15 years. I started off, again, a long road, and I remember going out to gigs, bringing a portable stereo and a CD with my
Mm,
instrumentals before I could
yeah,
afford equipment and even know what
right,
equipment meant.
right.
But now it's come a long way where, I go to Long McQuaid and rent something big if I need to go to a big event, or I have
Mm,
my little powered speaker that I usually walk around with, or, if I'm at a restaurant, plug into their system. So, yeah, I would say
nice.
about 15 years. So it's been
Okay,
quite a while. And again, that's what kind of urges me to continue and learn more.
nice. So how do you market yourself? Because you're in Ontario, right? Just
Yes,
like
I
Earl?
am. I'm
Yeah.
in Brooklyn, Ontario, or Whitby.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So how do you find yourself marketing yourself to get gigs out there?
You know what? I really don't put myself out there. It's mainly word of mouth and,
Okay.
helping out if, Earl can't make it to a gig at, his famous Island Mix restaurant or
Hmm.
any gigs that he may not be able to make. If he passes it along to me, that's one way. Um, Other than that, it's word of mouth. Honestly, I don't push myself because again, the timing and, taking away too much time from other things, I can't afford to do
Right,
that.
right.
So it's mainly word of mouth. And when I attend a gig, I usually get one or two gigs out of that, which is a good sign. So
Hmm. So do you find playing pan in Ontario, do you find yourself busy with that? Is that
it
like
is,
a
it's
fully like
extremely
around
busy.
you?
I mean,
Yeah.
despite COVID and everything now, but
Yeah.
the town of Whitby has been really, really generous to me as well. They discovered me a few years ago. I'm not even sure how that happened, but they started calling me for gigs for July or Canada Day festivals,
Oh wow.
Brooklyn Harvest festivals,
Hmm.
a number of events, and that just repeats year after year. So I'm really
Hmm.
grateful for, opportunities like that. They even Whitby Rib Fest, going on a big stage, that was probably my biggest stage that I've played on, and that was an experience, sweating like no tomorrow. I'm kind of a shy person, like, so a big crowd like that was just,
Yeah.
it was a great experience though because the community kind of knows me from my job as well. So it was
Okay.
involving insurance brokers and kind of a limbo contest. So it was a really cool experience. And hearing yourself on a system like that was like a rock star feeling because you could hear pan to the parking lot, which was like a kilometer away. So it was
Oh
really a
wow.
really cool experience. I do it again, but it's a nervous feeling for me.
You'll get over it.
Yeah.
You'll get over it. Yeah, you'll get over it.
Yeah,
It
after
it
the
took
first
me a
couple
while.
notes. Yeah, after the first
Yeah, yeah.
first couple of notes you get out, then I feel more comfortable that way.
Yeah. And then when you get off the stage, it was like, did I just say
Yeah.
in front
When you
of
see the video play back, it's like, wow, I did that. Okay, that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What have your challenges been being, I was going to say soloist, but you said a player. So what have your challenges been being
Yeah,
a player
again,
and doing
I
that?
would say it's just time and just finding the time to do it. But
Mm,
again, I don't see it much as a challenge. The challenge is for me, I would say more is the music and the theory. just knowing the blues scales, and different scales and modes and stuff, and learning the technical is probably the most challenge for me right now, just understanding it. And, I do have a lot of support around me. It's just a matter of taking the time to do it. So
Fair enough.
I think playing by ear is okay. Like, it's pretty easy for me. I can listen to a song and copy it
Yeah.
for the most part, but to jazz it up like, the players and soloists out there, that's what I really want to become more of. So I think that's mainly my biggest challenge.
Makes sense. So what do you think you have to do to get past that challenge?
It's just practice, making the
Practice.
mistakes as I did from the beginning. Like, it may sound like I'm banging pots and pans, but playing by ear, again, a lot of people say that, oh, that's so cool. And most musicians, I've worked with a couple of artists. My teacher helped me again with an album that I was on just to accent some music. And there's a small solo in there, and he helped me out with the chord progressions and understanding where the chords are going and what I can do, what accessible notes and so on over there. So that was a great experience, and that I think opened my mind a little bit more. And
Yeah.
when I practice my regular repertoire, I can see that that exercise alone has opened the door to a lot more. So I think it's just a matter of listening again, and maybe going back and forth with the support that I have,
Yeah.
and learning from them.
Nice. So you said your repertoire. Do you have a set repertoire when you decide to play at a
Yeah,
gig, or do you
yeah.
kind of, or do you
I
just kind of wing it?
No, I've been playing it for years, but again, sort of like what Earl said last week, is I'm kind of like I'm not a DJ by any means, but I kind of have the mentality of a DJ, and I look at the crowd all the time to see what the reaction. If I don't see somebody tapping their foot, I know
Right.
I'm not hitting them. I'm not engaging the
Right.
crowd. So always looking to engage the crowd somehow. And what I find is, I will play old time R&B and people clap and yes and whatnot. But when I start calypso and soca, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what race, the crowd goes nuts.
Yeah,
I'll
for
play,
sure.
what I
Yeah.
usually do is start off with slow songs, Stand By Me, either the original version or like the Latino version. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what's the other ones? Stevie Wonder, Righteous Brothers, stuff like that. Then I get
Mm-hmm.
into, the lovers rock reggae, and then I pick up the pace more with, the soca and calypsos. And then
Mm-hmm.
I kind of keep it at that pace till the end, keeping them wanting more, right? So I find that,
Yeah.
yeah, I have to look at the crowd, but yeah, I have this set repertoire. I probably have about 60 songs, 70 songs in my repertoire. Not all
Okay,
of them,
that's good.
all comfortable with. But if I know a gig is coming
Yeah.
up and it's a certain type of event, then I'll gear up towards that once that event's coming.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought of playing like on a cruise ship or at a hotel?
The cruise ship I thought about it years ago, and I talked to
Yeah.
some people about that, and they're like, the lifestyle you may not like too much. It's not as luxurious as you think. So I never
Mm-hmm.
pursued that. It is
Mm-hmm.
interesting, but on vacation, I'm not shy to ask somebody to play their pan.
That's good. That's
So a couple
good.
times we've been on vacation as a family, and one
Mm-hmm.
shining moment I would say was in Jamaica, Ocho Rios, and my family and my
Oh
in-laws were
wow.
there as well.
Yeah.
And you know what? My son was like, or my wife was like, go ask him if he could play a song or two. So I started playing, Tiny Whiny.
Okay.
And the crowd
Nice.
that was walking through the hallway after dinner was just, they were
Yeah.
chipping away. And it was just such a great feeling just to see people chipping away. And the guy actually started to take his phone and tape me, which was like, okay. And he
Right.
said,
Yeah.
keep playing. And then another time in Aruba, same thing. They had a panist at the resort, and I asked him to
Mm-hmm.
play, and I played basically his whole gig on stage, just because I was having fun, and and he's like, keep going, keep going. He had a guitarist that was accompanying him, and it was a
Yeah.
nice feeling to play outside of Canada. And one of my dreams
Yeah.
was to play in Trinidad for Panorama, but honestly, that's a different level too.
How about you and me go in 2021? Because
Yeah,
that's my dream too.
2021.
2021. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's ways I hear like they're sending music, and again using the EPAN, it might be
Hmm.
more feasible now to learn the music before you get there, right? My fear is just
Yeah.
I have to get there in time, and it's a tough road. Like the
It is.
locals, like although I'm Trini by background, I was born and raised here, but my family, there's some family that still plays phase two bass, but
Oh wow.
it's competition, to get a
Hmm.
spot, and you have to
Yeah.
be skilled, and it's not easy. I know it's not easy, but yeah,
Yeah.
maybe someday.
Yeah, just go try it. Then if you try it, you know what to expect. That's
Exactly.
why I'm going. I'm just gonna go do it. If I make it, I make it. If not,
It's an
I can say I
experience.
just did it.
Definitely.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you've played out. Have you noticed any, like the younger people more interested in your pan or just in general?
Yeah, you know what? I've done a few school gigs, which really brought out a lot of good, I would say, good outlook on the youth. It was
Mm-hmm.
a school in a not so great area, low income area, and the
Mm-hmm.
young men came to me after the gig and they were so interested and um, they were like, "How does this work?" And I love the sound of this, and they're trying it. And, I let them try to play it, and usually I do that in intimate settings where it's a controlled environment. I'd let them play without little kids knocking it over and so on. So they
Yeah.
were really interested in the teacher that hired me came to me and she said, you know what, I've never seen them open up like that before. And that was such a great, great thing. They don't
Mm-hmm.
talk. They don't usually talk. They're usually causing trouble and they were so
Right.
respectful to you. And, it was a great feeling to see that. And, that you can't ask for more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I see it in that way. Again, I'm not within the PAN community as much as I'd like to right now, but there's so much more that we can do for the youth. And I think, again, going back to the community feeling, and you see everything that's going on today, like
Yeah.
this is a great outlet for youth to come and feel a part of something and not feel the violence and the hurt that's going on. Like it's truly terrible what we're seeing today on the news. And
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a great way, no matter what race or culture or background that you have. Like our band was multicultural, and all the
Mm-hmm.
bands out there are multicultural. You'll see it, and
Yeah.
even in Trinidad, you have foreigners coming to play, and they endorse that, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that I think we can work on. Uh, I say we, but when I become more involved, but the networks out there, they're out there and they're trying. I do see it. The
Mm-hmm.
Pan Arts Network is one. And in the schools, I know that Sam and Cupid, who invented the EPAN, has been out there in the schools kind of promoting it. Again, my teacher as well is out there
Mm-hmm.
teaching in schools as well. But in the pan yards out here, yeah, you know what? I think it's pretty open to the youth and they support them. The older folks in the bands are really there as mentors, not only for music, but in life in
Mm-hmm.
general. I preach to that all the time. And I went back to Fanatics, I think it was last year or year before. I went to the
Okay.
Panya and I asked the director, I said, can I just have a talk with this group? I said, guys, I started this band and it was like family to me. I said, it's not
Right.
about music only. This is about family too. And you got to know your
Yes.
purpose here. Don't just come here and play because you have to. Feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to feel it. Move to the music. Feel what you worked so hard on. I know it becomes monotonous practicing a part after part for an hour, right? Just to get it
Yeah.
perfect. But now it's night before, panel live of our panorama. You got to feel the
Mm-hmm.
music and, you know, all your hard work has to go towards something.
Yeah. How is you mentioned it earlier, Pan Alive in Ontario. How is that?
I haven't been to it for years, but I performed in it
Yeah.
when I first started. It's an exciting feeling to be part of a competition and be in front of a large crowd, Lamport Stadium, a soccer field.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing close to what Trinidad is, obviously, and I've been to one panorama in my life in Trinidad live.
Yeah.
Nothing close to that, but such an experience, and being new to that and hearing a whole band come together, like it's an orchestra as we say, but to
Yeah.
hear it steel drums, steel pan all together, it's an amazing experience.
Mm-hmm. So what would you tell the younger you, knowing what you know now about Pan?
Learn your chord progressions, learn the
Yeah.
theory, discipline,
Yeah.
and try different pans, try different instruments.
Mm-hmm.
I think with my mind opening up to the different instruments, it will help me with the chord progression. Learning guitar is all chords. Learning
Yeah.
piano could be chords as well, right? So I
Yeah.
think going back to the discipline of learning the theory back then,
Mm-hmm.
and before kids and stuff, dedicating that time towards practice. Like even though I was playing around, it was more playing around and banging on notes that I shouldn't be, but
Right.
be more disciplined back in the day. But you know what? It's nothing to look back and say, damn, I
I
should
wish.
have.
Yeah.
Now it's now, right? So
Right. Yeah. So if you if you could learn a pan right now, what's the one pan you'd go to
well,
before
I
anything
would
else?
I would probably say guitar and bass.
Okay. Like the
Yeah, I
six
would say
picks, the four bass.
Guitar first, just because of the strumming, I think, and you can do a little bit. There's more notes, I think, more involved with guitar. You can involve more notes. Bass is
Hmm.
mainly just background, but bass is
Yeah.
what my dad played too, and apparently he was Mr. Smooth. So maybe just to
Okay.
carry on the legend.
You should
Yeah,
just go on the bass and just see what happens.
yeah, my aunt is also bass for phase two. So
Okay.
maybe just to carry on the legend, but guitar I would think would be my second choice.
Yeah. You wouldn't
Yeah.
even try double second or double tenor?
Double second is
No.
very interesting. And again, my teacher was saying, if you want to become a soloist, double second is probably the way to go because there's more range if you want to do
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I think with tenor, when watching, the legends like Duvon Stewart and Earl and everybody out there, and his brother Jimmy is another one. Sorry, I forgot to mention him.
Mhm.
Um, there's so much you can do with it. I watched Duvon Stewart play Hotel California with the background and melody at the same
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
things like
That's
that really impress me with the tenor pan if you can get to that
mhm.
level, but that's years
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, for sure. So this is about this time. If anyone has any questions, you're more than welcome to start asking. I see you have a tenor set up behind you.
Yeah.
Since you're a player,
Yeah.
I was wondering if you would mind playing a couple songs for us.
Sure, I'll play a song for you
Yeah.
and we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Hopefully the sound is okay.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm gonna just plug in my mic so I won't be able to hear you.
Yeah, no worries. was awesome. Throw the flames, people. Throw the flames. Throw the flames.
My mic there.
It's all good. That was good. That was good.
Thank you.
I hear your improv is getting there.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
It's getting
You
there.
know
Yeah,
what?
it's getting there.
I'm not afraid to try it, but at the same
Yeah.
time, there's a lot to work on.
Yeah.
Lots to
I'm
work
afraid to try
on.
it.
Don't be
I
afraid.
I know. Here's the thing. I learned music in school, so I'm just like all theory.
Mhm.
You got to play what you get.
Yep.
And with my dad, with his band, it was you play what you get. Like
Yep.
don't veer off. So I'm just in that mindset. So
Well, that's why I was so thankful that I got the teacher that I got. Like he
mm,
understood me and he understood that, I wasn't just in a box in terms of just band music. I wanted to
yeah,
do more with it. And he was
yeah,
willing to work with me even after practice. Like he would sit with me and kind of play along and to the songs that we learned and improvise. And
mm,
I'm like, I want to do that. I really want
right,
to do that. And there's a lot
yeah,
of other, when you ask me the question too about, who I look up to, it's really the people that I played with as well, for putting up with me too. There was another, there's another young lady that played with me, Danielle was her name. She played guitar pan and she was really great at
okay,
music theory. And she always used to, she just encouraged me as well. Andrew Jackson, who was the partly arranger and drummer, and he played bass and he plays for a lot of bands out there.
hmm
Andre Rouse, who was with the band and arranged for the band. Those are really some people that helped me build my foundation and gave me the confidence to carry on.
that's good. I find that on the east coast of Canada, you guys have more outlets and more people to look to,
Yeah,
whereas here on the west, it's literally just me,
I think,
right? So I have
yeah,
to look. I
the
have to look for my
demographics
my
are a bit
sources.
different.
Yeah, just a little. Yeah. So I have to look. I have to like I have a mentor in Trinidad now.
Yeah.
So
No.
he's pushing me. I don't like it, but he's pushing
It's
he's
not
pushing
easy.
me. Yeah.
It's
It's
not
not.
easy.
It's not easy. But I appreciate it though.
Yeah, well, the culture has to stay
Yeah.
alive as well in terms of the instrument.
Yeah.
And, kids these days, again, looking at it from an Ontario perspective, I see a lot of youth out there, which is very encouraging because if we don't
Mm.
have them, this will disappear, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we can't have that happen.
Yeah. It's a little tougher over here. It's a little tougher
We'll
over
make up
here.
for it over here. We'll make up for it
Okay.
over
All right. I might have to just make a way over there to you
here. Anytime
guys.
you're welcome to come by.
Awesome, awesome. If anyone has any questions, you're more than welcome to put them up. Is there anything else? Hey, how about a fun fact about you that you can tell us?
Hmm. I'm a fun guy now.
Yeah. What?
My hobbies, I would say, what is fast cars aside from music. I love cruising in fast cars with the
Nice.
kids and the family and my wife.
Nice.
So I would say, yeah, fast cars is my fun fact. We have a
Mm.
2014 Mustang GT
Okay.
5.0. So yeah,
Okay.
on weekends and Niagara trips, we get there pretty quickly. So
I could assume, yeah.
it's like a roller coaster ride for the kids, and when their heads go
hmm
back and I step on it. So, that's my fun fact.
Yeah. Nice. So, are there any other cars that your wife doesn't know about that you want to get?
Well, when I turned 50, my goal was a Corvette, but that's a two-seater, so the kids will have to go somewhere.
Well, I mean, they can stay home.
They'll be old enough by then.
Yeah. So I see a
Well,
question. How many speeding tickets do you have?
you know what? The funny thing is, I had more speeding tickets when I had a Honda Accord, my two-door Honda Accord, five-speed
hmm
stick. I had about three tickets, and one was over 50 at the time that they didn't suspend licenses. So I
Oh
was worse
wow,
in a
you got lucky.
four-cylinder car than
That's funny. I see another question. Do you know Wayne? I don't.
Wayne.
Do you know if you have a last name? Does a Wayne come into your?
I know a couple wins, but not in the pan community per se.
Okay. Okay. Are there a lot of tuners in Toronto?
Sorry?
Are there a lot of pan tuners in Toronto? Like how is the access to get your pan tuned?
Well, I usually use people through other people. So I would contact probably
Okay.
Earl Lapierre Jr. and ask him for a contact. I know of one through him. I don't know them
hmm
personally. I know there's a few.
Yeah.
Tommy Critchlow and Earl, can't remember, is it Earl Wong?
Wong, yeah, Earl Wong.
Yeah, yeah.
That pan.
Okay, all right, all right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have to contact him soon because
Yeah.
yeah, I think I need to get mine touched up. So
Yeah. Yeah. Are there with your pan sticks, is there a certain pan stick you kind of gravitate to, or you just kind of pick up a stick and just play?
yes, you know what? I've gravitated towards the aluminum ones now. I
Okay.
ordered them from I forget his name, Soka Mallets in
Okay.
Trinidad. I
Okay.
was using the wood before, and I purchased some from other makers, and the
Mm-hmm.
weight, I got picky. Like I'm a, I don't know,
Yeah.
princess when it comes to that now.
Hey, you have to
I
be. You
need to
have
have
to
a
be.
certain weight and a certain feel now, and it
Yeah.
helps me, I think,
Mm-hmm.
execute. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally different now. I have a bunch of sticks in the cupboard now that I just dashed away because it doesn't feel right anymore.
Well, keep them as your emergency sticks just in case,
Exactly.
because I have a bunch too.
Yep. You know what I packed? There's some in the car. There's some yeah, just
Yep.
in case. The
Or
worst thing.
car, your case.
Yeah, the worst thing you could forget is a pair of sticks. And I've always thought
Yep.
about what would happen if, I forgot a pair of sticks. Who would be close to me that I could call on, or what would I do? And my idea was to MacGyver it and get two forks and rubber bands.
I had to do that.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I had to do that. Except I had to get two pencils and
Okay.
just rubber band it. And I was
Rubber
like,
band.
this is my lesson. I gotta make sure.
Yeah, that and a
Yeah.
power cord. But you know what? I did forget a power cord once at a gig, and
Mm,
thankfully I knew the DJ, and he lent me one of his laptop power cords, and it worked with my speakers. So
nice, nice. Have you ever had the problem where you'd bring everything and they said they had you covered, but it didn't work?
no,
You didn't have that?
no,
I've had that a few times. They're just like,
yeah,
yeah, don't worry, we got stuff for you. I always carry my speaker, my power cord, everything.
yeah.
And I started playing and I was like, I can't hear myself and the
No, I
people can't
always use
hear
my own
me.
stuff. Yeah. As long
Yeah.
as well, you know what, DJs in weddings usually are playing inside. So I usually
Hmm.
bring my little portable speaker to play, or what I played on here is perfect for like a hall reception area. So
Yeah.
I never plug into their stuff unless they're asking me to do during dinner, which, I still have my stuff just in case. So
Yeah. Yeah. Does anyone else have any more questions? I see some people just came in. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about yourself?
I'm not a talker.
Come on, you've been talking, you've been doing well.
Yeah, this is my
Yeah.
first time doing anything like this, so I do appreciate it. It's something different. Usually I just
Yeah,
go out
of
and play
course.
and talk to people. I'm used to
Yeah.
people asking me the questions and, I elaborate on that, but, when are you
Yeah.
available and how much you charge or,
Right. Yeah.
all of those things are what I'm used to
Yeah.
talking about. It's
Yeah.
my first time really doing an interview and after all these years of playing, to be honest, and it was a great
Yeah.
experience. Again, thank you for such a great opportunity. And I thank
Thank you.
everybody out there that's logged in and looking at this live. And, I
Mhm.
appreciate your support.
Of
It's
course.
really a great, humbling experience. And to see,
Yeah.
great people on this show as well, it's even greater of an honor.
Hmm. Well, I would like to thank Earl for introducing us because I would have
Yeah,
never known about you.
exactly. You're right. I don't put
Yeah.
myself out there. Like I'll post my gigs, on Facebook for friends and family and
Hmm.
Instagram and whatnot, but I really don't put myself out there. I leave it up to the pros for that, to
Yeah.
advertise and really market. And you can see, Earl is one of the pioneers and not, I shouldn't say pioneer, he's not old, he's young. But he's an expert at it. Like he's a great marketer and he knows how to get the crowd going. And I watched him perform here in a local event with my family, and the show that he put on for the kids, he caters to
Hmm.
everybody, which is
Yeah.
something that is special. And you're either born with that or you can't fake that. Like it's genuine,
No.
and he really has
Yeah.
this genuine performance piece to him.
Oh, I think we lost him for a sec. Hey.
I lost you
We
for a
lost you for
second.
a second. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, sorry. I didn't. Do you want to finish?
No, no, I was just saying,
Oh.
Earl, I watched one of his performances and the entertainment piece was really, really, really engaging. And he really
Mm-hmm.
has it down pat in terms of engaging a crowd as well as executing.
Mm-hmm.
For me, no, I don't put my head down, but, I just play, I can't talk on the mic the way, and he does. It's really, really a show to watch, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna, and it literally escaped my mind. Oh my goodness. So, Earl, do you have any more questions for your friend? Oh my goodness. Um, I was gonna. So, do you ever want to travel throughout Canada playing pan,
yeah,
like
you know
trying other
what?
bands?
When the time is right,
Hmm.
um, I think it would be great at the right time. It's just not the right time for me right now with the family being so young, and I really,
Yeah.
really uh, pride myself in my family and spending time with the family and helping them because there's so much for them to grow and learn from as parents that we have to dedicate that time. Again, my son, I'm
Hmm.
not going to kill his dream and say he's not going to make it to the NBA. I'm going to
No,
help him
don't do
get there
that.
and help him, try to take him to camps and play with him outside and teach him things that I've known
Hmm.
from basketball. I used to play a lot of basketball. I was never going to go anywhere, but I know
Yeah.
a lot of things about basketball and I can help coach him and the mentorship is there and with my daughter now and music, it's another
Hmm.
opportunity to help kids grow, along with my wife
Yeah.
and helping the kids together is key right now. So when the time
Hmm.
comes, it'll come. And you know what? I'm
Okay.
patient. I'm patient for that.
That's good. Well, whenever you're ready, you're more than welcome to come over to the east, to the west,
Oh, that's easy.
and
That's the
see how
easy
it is
one.
over here.
That was an easy one. Going on tour is a different story.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, once in a
I was
while,
at
definitely, I would be up for something like that.
awesome. You can bring your family too. Make it a family
Awesome.
trip.
They would love
Yeah.
it.
Awesome. I'm actually talking to a few Panis in Trinidad about doing a kind of like a trade workshop thing. So you go to Trinidad, you kind of follow them around and see how it is there, and then they will do the same thing. Is that something you'd be interested in participating in?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Give me some
Yeah.
details on that, and definitely I'll look into it and see how
Yeah.
that might fit in. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely seeing the life, it's another piece of the art that maybe I'd love to dig deeper into. It's not just
Hmm.
again picking up music and learning it, it's learning the history, learning the life of it even now.
Yeah.
As I heard, back in the day, how it was and how it was to be in a band and where it came from musically and whatnot culturally. But seeing
Hmm.
how it is now would be, awesome. And
Yeah.
yeah, just let me know.
Yeah, for sure. There's a since you mentioned that, there's a movie that came out, I want to say 4 years ago called Pan. It literally talks about the history from where it started and where it is now.
Yeah, I
So
haven't
I
had a
I
chance. I didn't
suggest
watch it yet. Yeah.
I
Okay.
suggest you watch that. I had to
Really?
buy it because I was like, it's too
Really?
good.
Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah,
definitely will tune into that.
yeah, for sure. Well, since no one has any questions, I would like to say thanks again for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Your playing
Thanks
was
for having me.
amazing. It's only gonna
Thank you.
get better from here. And next time you perform, I want to let me know so I can make the trip over there.
For sure.
All right.
We're in touch. We're connected now, so you know what? We'll definitely be
Yeah.
in touch with a lot more.
Awesome.
Thanks
Awesome.
again
Thank
for
you,
having
Earl.
me.
Of course.
All right.
Thank you, Earl, for introducing us. We appreciate it.
Yes, sure. Thank you very much. Always a
Yeah, yeah,
pleasure.
yeah. So, for those watching, don't forget, come here every Monday at 8 p.m. Talk all things fan. All right.
Take care,
Have a good night,
everyone.
guys.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.